Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the Late Night Lake Show podcast. It is your hosts, Ricky and Kwame. We come to you guys in the dog days of summer, August 22nd, year of our Lord 2022. And once again, absolutely nothing to report as far as the Lakers and roster construction. We got a brand new Shams article that everybody is freaking out about already, so we might as well just dive into that. But we did get some good news at the end of last week. We got big LeBron news. He signed a 2-year extension with the Lakers, and he will be the highest earning player in NBA history by the end of that contract. So that's cool. Yep. Good job, LeBron. We saw the NBA schedule did come out. There's a new Rivals Week that I'm sure Kwame is so excited to talk about. So we'll get into a little bit of that. And our boy Pau, Big Pau, is getting his jersey retired against the Memphis Grizzlies. Shout out to the Lakers. That's a nice touch. So we got to give our flowers to the big Spaniard. But if you guys aren't already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, Late Night Lake Show. If you're listening in podcast form, make sure you're subscribed to Late Night Lake Show wherever you get your podcast. Leave us a 5-star review, man. We need those. We don't ask for those, but we need those. We need those. So, hook us up as we continue to give you guys that premium Lakers content. So, all right, Kwame, without further ado, let's figure this out. So Shams today dropped a KD article. I do want to just point that out, that this was a Kevin Durant trade partners article. Correct. And in that article, he framed it that there's a new Western Conference team that's peeked in and inquired about KD. That ended up being the Memphis Grizzlies, which, would be a really fun trade if that ever went down. Ja Morant, KD. They're saying that, the Grizzlies have 5 first-round picks, but they're not willing to get rid of Desmond Bane. I think it was Triple J as well. Yep. Right. So, we'll just mark that into the filing cabinet of asked, don't have enough currently to meet the asking price. So the KD trade thing moves on. They also got into how the Celtics are still potentially have the strongest package, along with the Toronto Raptors, and the Miami Heat still showing interest. But what's got Lakers fans all excitable right now is that little tidbit that Shams dropped in his other NBA news notes, was that it seems like Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are getting real cozy with each other. Don't want to paraphrase, so I'm going to read off the real quote. And Kwame, you give me your reaction when you hear that what Shams is reporting. So Shams says All-Star Kyrie Irving also opted into his $37 million player option, committed to the 22-23 season in Brooklyn, and sources with knowledge of the situation say he's been working out with teammates and holding constructive dialogue with the organization this offseason. Brooklyn has made clear to interested teams that they plan to keep the 7-time All-Star, according to sources. Wow. Okay. So Kwame, here we go. New news. It should be breaking news all over the internet. We do, everything should be going down now, right? Kyrie Irving is not leaving the Brooklyn Nets. Are you buying that?
No, not yet. I mean, I won't believe it until training camp kicks off and he's still on the roster. I'm not buying it yet, man. I'll be honest. I mean, so you're telling me after having a contract impasse, he wanted an extension, they didn't want to give it to him. Kevin Durant now says he wants to leave. So they're going to keep Kyrie for what, a year? And then are they then going to re-sign him to an extension? Or what's going to happen here? What's the long-term play here? Like, it sounds all good and funky in the moment, but long-term, this play would make no sense for Brooklyn. You might as well take the trade while you have it until he potentially leaves for nothing at the end of the season, unless they're going to all of a sudden offer the contract extension. But what are the odds he signs that extension now that Kevin Durant wants out? Not a lot of mathing right here, if you ask me. I'll be honest. And, I don't know if a tandem of Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving is going to get it done either. So, hey, I don't know what Joe over there is thinking in the Nets land, but it's not making a lot of sense to me. So I'm gonna keep holding on to the Kyrie Irving trade until training camp kicks off. If indeed it does start and he's still on the Nets roster, then sure, maybe. Then they got us. That hey, they stood firm and bless their souls on an incredible season that will be lying ahead. But nah, man, I'm still not going for this. I think it's all been said. It's been stated several times throughout the summer. The Nets are probably not going to make a move on Kyrie until they make a move on Kevin Durant. Sounds like more teams are getting interested. The Grizzlies entering that conversation. Seems like, honestly, the Celtics probably still have the best offer out there, but I get it. Joe Tsai does not want to look like a dweeb when Kevin Durant goes for less than what Rudy Gobert went for. I understand that. But not a lot of teams with the position to take a Kevin Durant and immediately add to the roster and win are going to be willing to gut their team for a 34-year-old player who has, a history of injuries, had a really bad Achilles injury, came off of, and he came off great, but he's still 34 years old at the end of the day with 4 years remaining on his contract. So, hey, but what's to say? He gets traded. He don't ask out in another year with 3 years left on his contract, 2 years left on his contract. You never know with Kevin Durant. So are you really, really ready to mortgage your entire organization's future on this? Hey, the Nets going to have to come down on the asking price if they're serious about moving Kevin Durant, in my opinion. But the Kyrie stuff, again, I'm not going to buy it until training camp begins.
I feel like the Nets front office is trying to operate and put up a shop front saying, hey, we're getting ready to roll into the season. Kyrie's on board, so don't ask about him anymore. We're handling the Kevin Durant thing behind closed doors. Well, like everything else in the NBA, nothing stays behind closed doors. And all this would be fine if Kevin Durant voiced his issues with the front office and the head coach in private and it didn't leak. But it is clear that KD has set up this relationship going forward as a pretty do or die situation. I'm not going to play for Steve Nash. I don't want to play for the GM, Sean Marks. Remove them, and then we can talk about rebuilding this relationship. I think the Nets are trying to sell the whole we're trying to rebuild this relationship part while hoping that we forget the whole reason why KD wants out of here. He doesn't trust the franchise. Yep. He doesn't trust any parts of the management leading all the way up to the owner. I just don't understand how the article today by Shams Charania, which, go ahead and check out on The Athletic, read through it. It's a KD article, Kwam. The article is about Kevin Durant and new trade partners emerging around the league, right? Now you even got names like the Bucks have called. They want to see what's going on with them. And I mean, if I'm Milwaukee, you trade heaven and earth to put Giannis with KD. That's just me. I think you try to figure that out. But in any event,
what they need, man, they trade all their picks for Drew.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. So right, the Packers. So we'll figure it out. I just don't understand how an article about all the things going on with KD and how teams are starting to close in a little bit more if Brooklyn can just turn the knobs a little bit, and how Brooklyn's pretty much hoping and praying and wishing that Kevin Durant kind of folds before they fold and trade him for less. But at the same time, we're fixated on, oh, yeah, it looks like Kyrie's not going anywhere. Is Brooklyn that stupid? Is Brooklyn that dumb that if they think Kevin Durant could possibly be traded, let's say a team matches their asking price, who on this planet thinks Kyrie Irving is going to be in a Brooklyn Nets uniform 48 hours after that?
I would doubt it. But even if he did, what's to say he stays beyond this season anyway? He only signed a 1 year. He signed his 1 year
He's an expiring
option
contract right now.
It makes no sense.
Hey, he wouldn't be the guy that I put faith into that, on an expiring deal is going to hoop his brains out and play all 82 games and be a leader and X, Y, and Z, when the other option is he could wait until the trade deadline and be like, okay, now trade me again.
Right.
It gets a little tough. So I don't want to dismiss that all of this could end up with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving still being on the Brooklyn Nets at the beginning of training camp. I think there's a world where that definitely is a situation. Will Kevin Durant show up to training camp? Yo, no say. Will Kyrie Irving show up to training camp? I think probably. They're kind of doing this whole public love affair thing where I think Kyrie wants to be known more as a good leader right now, at least up front, without, all the other BS working its way with his name. So, but with that being said, KD, Kyrie back on the Nets is a situation that I think the Nets front office can only feel good about because they know that they're not going to lower that KD asking price. And they also know in the back of their heads, no team is going to come and meet that KD asking price. So to them, they're like, hey, we set the bar. Like you said, we're not going to get less than what the Jazz got for Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
So what do you want us to do, Kevin? If you don't want to play for us, go sit at home, brother, until you have a change of heart, right? We'll play with Kyrie, and hopefully you'll start missing just playing with Kyrie. I don't know. I'm trying to build what the Nets could be thinking, but at the end of the day, please stop shoveling the whole talking out of both sides of your mouth where we're still hearing about KD trade packages and what the Nets want for a KD trade. But at the same time, you're talking about, oh, yeah, but don't even talk about Kyrie Irving.
Dog, my thing is, how are you going to even be able to walk it back, even if they do double down? Just be like, look, KD, you got to stay. How are you supposed to walk back all the statements that were made about him not having faith in the head coach and the GM, wanting them both out of there for him to stay? He can't walk that back. Imagine going into a locker room with that kind of tension in there. Come on, bro. Like, that's just not a healthy work environment. And then you got Joe Tsai, who decided he could have, honestly, maybe they could have managed this had everybody kept their mouth closed. But my man jumped on the Twitter sphere and tweeted that he has the back of the coaching staff and the front office. Come on, bro. At that point, you made it very clear your stance that Kevin Durant is not going to control your organization. You should have just kept it quiet, acted like the rumors, none of that even happened. But now that you made that statement, I have no idea how Kevin Durant will be able to walk this back, or the Brooklyn Nets be able to meet and be like, look, hey, bygones be bygones. Let's put it together and win a championship or whatever the hell they're trying to do. Don't make sense. So, hey, like I said, y'all can fall for the okie doke if y'all want, but I'm not going for it.
September 4th is a day that not a lot of Lakers fans hold in high regard historically. But September 4th, I firmly believe, will be a very important day in Lakers history. That is the day, that is the first available day that any of the players involved in the Rudy Gobert trade with the Minnesota Timberwolves in the Utah Jazz will be eligible to be traded.
Ooh.
Right? I think it is significant in the fact that Utah still has another superstar that, by all intents and purposes, seems like is going to get traded. And by all intents and purposes, seems like it's going to get traded to the New York Knicks, which is a team with a whole lot of bad contracts, big contracts, ways to absorb bad contracts, XYZ. I think in all of this, and I said this earlier today when I first read the Shams article, is we're still probably a full week, maybe a full week and a half of more of these rumors, more of these, leverage through the media talking negotiation. I haven't read Mark Stein's article. He just dropped an article, and I think in the headline he was talking about how they're hoping that by nobody meeting the KD asking price, KD will eventually come back to the team, which was what I was kind of, hinting at earlier in my rant. But I think if you're looking at a whole timeline of when could the big news happen, because there has to be there. This isn't just going to fizzle into the regular season. A big move to still have to happen, or announcements or set of announcements, because there's still too many players, too many teams, too many rosters that's still in flux. Do we really think, Kwame, that the Lakers are about to put this roster after the season that they had last year? You go through the list of players that they have on the team this year. Do you really think when Rob and Jeannie were talking about their commitment to LeBron James, this is the vision that they had?
Not a chance. Like, there's no way. More's on the way. It has to be.
It can't be. It can't be the end, right? So when we get to that other shoe to drop, only time will tell. But just trying to frame chronologically, kind of look out, next week, end of next week, going into the following Labor Day weekend, we should expect some fireworks coming up. So I know a lot of people talked about getting in on those Utah deals. Our boy Vinay, who's a friend of the show, he has a great YouTube channel, Radio KBE. And recently he outlined a way that the Lakers would help facilitate the Donovan Mitchell trade. So go ahead and make sure to watch that video. But in short, it was pretty much sending out Russ, Wenyen, a first, and that gets split up between the Knicks and the Jazz. and the Lakers receive back
some depth.
I think it was Bogdanovic. You got our boy Pat Bev, Chicago native, in there, and then a couple of other pieces. I'm not jumping out to mind, but I think the Lakers even being in position, and Woj just talking about Rob has been very active. Bitch, for what? What's exactly. Rob been? What's he been active doing? If the Lakers are out on Kyrie Irving, right? Yeah. Is he just sitting playing Tetris? Is he doing Wordle? Right? Like, what is all of the action if nothing has moved yet? Let's use our minds here, folks. Let's put our thinking caps on and think. We're not done here, right? So I think it's also the anticipation is eating away at the fan base for sure, right? I'm a little bit kind of tired of articles like this about, hey, here's rumors of teams interested in KD. Here's another report by the Nets that they want leaked out that they're not about to do shit with Kyrie, and they're so happy to have him, and absolutely nothing earlier in the summer had any effect of where they stand today. Please. I think we all are obviously all eager to see what the 22-23 Lakers are going to look like. It's got it just all out of our hands. And if you want a stake in the sand, a date to circle on the calendar, when those Utah boys can be traded is, I think, when we'll start getting some action here.
That's fair.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to jump into the King and him extending with the Los Angeles Lakers. Not a 1-year extension, 2 years, invested in the franchise. Late Night Lake Show. We'll be right back.
The Late Night Lake Show podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best legal way to play daily fantasy player props in states like California, New York, Texas, and more. You pick 2 to 5 players and an over-under on their projections, and you can win up to 10 times on any entry. The best part is you can mix players from different sports. You can take the over on LeBron combined with the under on Mahomes in the same entry. Prize Picks is the easiest way to play daily fantasy because it's just you versus the projected numbers. Just use our promo code LNLS, and any deposit you make can receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So go support the brand and go win you some money. It's the best of both worlds. Again, use our promo code LNLS.
All right, Kwame, $97 million, man.
Fat
for
million.
2 years of work. I don't know. Short of hurting somebody, like women and children, short of that, and like the people in need, the disadvantage, I don't know if there's a job on this planet I would not do for $97 million for 2 years. Is there anything that you would not do? Would you be, I don't even want to get sexist with it. Is there anything that you would not do for $97 million, 2 years of work?
I'll be honest, man. Probably not, bro. It's not. That's a lot of money, dog. You know how long it would take me to make $97 million at my current day job?
How many lifetimes do you need?
Exactly. That's my point. So to make that in 2 years, come on, bro.
Right.
I'm doing whatever, man. I'm doing whatever. I'll slap my own mama. It don't matter. I'll throw her a couple mils. She'll be all right.
That's fair. Baby.
She'll be all right.
Ashley's off on the side of the camera. Remember when your friend Tria came over and she asked, like, would I slap my mom for like $100,000? I thought that was so disrespectful. No. Yeah, I said no.
You said no?
Well, for $97 million, he said he'd slap his mom, but I think that's a threshold. I said $100 million.
$100,000, I'll slap my mom. I'll give her. We'll split it, G. She'll be all right. She'll take the slap for absolutely. Come on, G. For 50 racks, she'll
That's
take,
crazy. You slapping your mom for 50 G's, dog?
No, 100 G. Honestly, 50 G's, yeah. Be like, Bob, AG. We need this, dog.
All right. Well, that's something that LeBron does not have to worry about doing to earn his paycheck.
You got to slap his mama.
No, man. It was reported late last week that LeBron James signed a 2-year extension with the Los Angeles Lakers for $97 million. And depending on how the next salary cap ends up being, it could be worth up to $111 million US. Regardless, by the time LeBron James finishes out that contract, he will be the highest paid or the highest earning NBA player in history. And, that doesn't mean much to anybody, but I just thought it was pretty interesting that he was not already, but he will be passing Kevin Durant, who's been, signing exclusively max deals out the jump. And I think when he started signing the maxes is when like the first wave of stupid max increases started coming in. So like the super maxes and all that good stuff. So shout out LeBron, man. But I think more importantly, Kwame, you know what that means, man?
More Bron.
You done buying different teams' jerseys, bro. That's
raps,
the end of the
bro.
line.
It's raps. The only jerseys I'm buying are all the dope Laker joints. That white Minneapolis one will be in my collection soon.
Oh yeah. What yeah, bro. I mean, even if LeBron decided to go join Bronny for one season, you doing that jersey, or would you just get a Bronny jersey?
I mean, I'd probably just get the Bron jersey for the novelty, but I said, I'll clap from afar. It's cool. I'll still root for him, but no, I'm a Laker fan through and through. So it'll be dope though. I mean, hey, just the one last season, there's a lot of players who had, one-off final career season, like Paul Pierce on the Clippers. I mean, but it's Paul Pierce, so don't nobody care about that. But Hakeem on the Raptors, Ewing on the Magic. You got people that, kind of had some nasty ends. You got Shaq on the Celtics. You got some gross ends. Bron's end can't be that nasty, no matter what jersey he throws on for his dolo season with Bronny. But I'm excited for the immediate future. He will remain a Laker, and hopefully, he can extend his Laker lore. But hey, how many years that put LeBron on the Lakers now? What we at?
It
by
would
the
be
end of the contract.
We came over in 18.
Mm-hmm.
So 7. That would be just as long as any stint he's had with any other team.
Correct. Yeah, as long as his first stint in Cleveland. Look at that. So what are you going in the hall as, man?
They ain't check it in the NBA, but I was trying to rile some people up last year saying LeBron brings 2 rings to LA. He going into the hall as the Lakers. So, I'm still here to try to cover up them Cleveland years, but I know those hold a sacred place in people's hearts. But
what they finna do with the man's jersey though? They got a 23 and 6 are some hot numbers right now, man.
Yeah, no kidding. So I mean 6 will be retired. Right? I mean, 6 is getting retired around the league. First of all, R.I.P. Bill Russell.
Yes,
legend, icon, civil rights activist, walked the walk, not just talk the talk. He was really out in those streets doing right for his people, man, and doing it in an environment that we all know ain't the friendliest for different skin folks. So shout out Bill Russell, man. Hell of a life, hell of a career.
Yes.
The Celtic leaf on the court. Rest in peace, Bill Russell. So, real quick before we get into the season talk, nobody really acknowledges that this whole LeBron's gonna go play with Bronny no matter what team drafts him. Why the hell can't the Lakers just set up to draft him? Like everybody thought, the Lakers don't have their draft pick. That's not true. That's not true. The Lakers have pick swaps with the Pelicans from here on out, right? So, and depending on what level of prospect Bronny is, why couldn't the Lakers trade up from 22 to 16, 22 to 15? Do I think the Lakers would trade a future first round pick to trade up to draft Bronny James? 1,000%.
Do you think so?
Y'all must be new here. It is, as much as I love my franchise and I bleed purple and gold, the Lakers make moves to appease their superstar, right? Not star,
that's
their
true.
Superstar, right? You give Kobe that bag, and that honestly, that wasn't the max. Kobe could have signed for more, but they didn't offer. They knew they would not be competing like that once he signed that offer, and that's just how they went out. Do I think LeBron coming to the Lakers when the Lakers were literally in the pits of hell and everybody's like, the young core and this and that? Dog, my child would be a rookie on the next Lakers team that competes if the Lakers decide to ride out with the young core, which, by the way, besides Brandon Ingram, every last single person that you've named in the young core has played for about 3 NBA teams already.
Isn't that nuts?
I'm just saying, man, not everyone's meant to be on one team their entire NBA lives. But I digress. The Lakers absolutely would figure out a way to trade up, trade around, do what they need to do to draft Bronny. And I just think that they're not talking about that being a route because it's not really something that you would publicize, especially if Bronny's not like a top 5 athlete in the world, in his draft class.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can easily see them trading some capital to doing that father-son duo, don't you?
Yeah, I can see it. And honestly, I hope for it. Then I really don't have to buy another jersey.
That's right. And that would be the numbers on those jerseys would go so stupid.
Yeah, it'd
Bronny
be
and LeBron
absurd.
jerseys.
Oh my gosh, through the ceiling.
Anyways, but that's just, there's basketball, the on-court stuff. Then there's the NBA, which is personalities, drama, money, cheating, and family.
Cheating.
The Lakers are big on the whole family part. So
That's
just
facts.
keep an eye out for that. All right. Moving on to the NBA calendar season. The NBA last week decided to drop in a busy news week for us Lakers fans, their 2022-2023 schedule. You can go ahead and download the schedule from LateNightLakeShow.com. You can save it right to your calendar. We'll be continuing updating stuff like that, maybe with spaces and upcoming scheduled shows. So make sure you visit us at LateNightLakeShow.com for all your premium Lakers content. But you can go and check it out. Lakers open up the Warriors ring ceremony. So LeBron will be present for Draymond and his boo thing to get his ring. So that'll be cool. Hopefully the Lakers will have a better roster. So that's actually a competitive basketball game.
For real.
But one thing I wanted to pick your brain on, Kwame, is this new NBA Rivals Week. You didn't hear about this before I brought it up today. So
No, I didn't even know.
For those that don't know, the NBA is introducing Rivals Week, which is, they would explain it, is a classic and budding rivalries between teams and players will highlight NBA Rivals Week during the week of January 23rd. NBA Rivals Week will feature 11 nationally televised games across 4 networks over 5 days. The matchups will be Boston, Miami, Clippers, Lakers, Brooklyn, Philadelphia, Memphis, Golden State, Chicago, Charlotte, Dallas, Phoenix, Memphis, Minnesota, Toronto, Golden State, Denver, Philadelphia, Knicks, Nets, and then finally Lakers, Celtics. I don't know about you, Kwame, but I only think I see maybe 3 actual rivalries out of that list. What about you, man? Are you excited for NBA Rivals Week?
Dog, these are such forced rivalries. It's insane. Like, some of these are legit. Like, you got Lakers, Celtics, you got Knicks, Nets. I mean, I guess just because they both play in New York. Outside of that, no, I don't really see these as rivalries. I mean, I guess you could say Lakers, Clippers, but I mean, hasn't been much of a rivalry in my opinion. I mean, it's just been a lot of talk and one team not showing up and the other doing so. So, and I guess Celtics Heat, yeah, they got a lot of budding rivalry through the years. Even more recently, we just had a conference finals matchup. They have gone to conference finals twice. I mean, they did also in the bubble as well. So I can see that a little bit, but there's a couple out here, man, that I'm just looking. I'm like, dog, this is forced. How are the Chicago Bulls and Charlotte Hornets a rivalry? Because the Ball brothers play for the respective
Hey, I just realized that.
Dog, that is so forced.
A Ball brothers rivalry. Pause.
On,
but that is very they're trying to squeeze that in there. No pun intended.
On, man. Suns Mavericks, just because they play in the playoffs and Luka was giving them hell, that's a rivalry now?
And they're playing each other the first game of the year. They're opening the season against each other. The one that kills me, right, is Toronto Golden State. And yes, they played each other in the finals. But where the hell is the rivalry even in that game? Kawhi's gone, right? KD's gone. Half of the Warriors team tore something in the finals, it felt like, right?
Exactly.
Like, it was not a finals. It didn't go 6 games. It didn't go 7, right? Like, it was not competitive. And I don't think anybody watched it after game 1, to be honest with you. So that one's a little weak for me. What else is on here? Memphis, Minnesota. Okay, they're riding out last year.
The playoffs again.
I get it. Hey, they want to keep stoking those flames. Do you know the number one way to actually build rivalries in sports
No.
They got to see each other in the playoffs. That's kind of number one. You
Fair.
got to be playing each other when there's something on the line, right? So that's why I rock with the Memphis, Minnesota. I rock with Memphis, Golden State. And I think they play each other on Christmas too. So that's my other thing. You're kind of, we're watching some of these rival games. So you're doubling up on these rivals games and just putting it all in the same section. But whatever. Maybe they'll televise it, they'll present it a little different. I don't know. The NBA is doing a lot of tweaking these days. They're giving out 90 million MVP awards. Is there going to be a rival, most valuable rival?
Maybe at this point they got an MVP for everything now.
Baddest blood, like what is it going to be? So, shout out the NBA for tweaking and stuff. I just think some of these matchups, especially the Ball brother battle,
that one's absurd.
That's a little bit crazy.
Dog, even the Nuggets 76ers one is lame just because you got dueling MVPs or MVP candidates with Jokic and Embiid. Like, dog, they've only played a total of 6 games against each other. How is that a rivalry? They've only played 6 games against each other, and now this is a rivalry. Come on, NBA. I see what you're doing, but this is forced. But I mean, hey, I get it. It's to help stir up some drama. Maybe you can get a couple Ja Morant tweets in there to fuel the flames some more. But outside of that, man, I mean, come on. Hey, Brooklyn, New York could fall flat as hell if none of these teams make these trades. And you got people sitting out. Again, I don't know. I'm not too big on this. The only one I care for, to be completely honest, is the Laker games.
Right. Which obviously we will always be front and center. The Lakers are actually second in most televised games this season behind the Golden State Warriors. We actually just did a quick little recap video on our Late Night Lake Show Instagram and TikTok, so make sure you're following us over there. But yeah, to be honest with you, Brody, the big game that we got circled obviously is this back-to-back, and these back-to-backs are interesting too. The NBA is doing a lot. Lakers and Bulls, obviously we are Chicago residents and area of Bulls Nation we reside in. We got a back-to-back this year. I don't know if you remember, but the Lakers usually play the Bulls probably in December, January, around that time. It's cold as shit when they play each other. This is interesting. I don't really understand why they put this literally at the end of the year. But yeah, March 26th, the Bulls will be at Crypto. And then March 29th, we will be in the United Center. So we're going to have to mark those calendar events for us. Hopefully we're credentialed by then and just, are going to those games.
Right.
But yeah, before we get out of here, Kwam, what other games do you have circled on your calendar that you're looking forward to for this season for our Lakers?
For our Lakers, I mean, obviously, you got opening night. We got to show our stuff, especially with our new and improved, by then I hope, roster. So that should be fun, spoil the Golden State Warriors ring ceremony. I can always get some love for Celtics Lakers, especially, now with the Celtics kind of coming into their own. Lakers, we got a beast of a gang. This could be a renewed rivalry, so to speak, but we finna bust that ass, so it don't really matter. Outside of that, I mean, there's nothing that really gets me too hyped. I mean, obviously the Laker-Clipper games are always exciting. Everybody wants to talk about their great regular season record against us, but, they didn't show up to the dance in the bubble, so not much to say there. But I don't know.
It been a lot of teams have a pretty decent regular season record against the Lakers as of late. So,
which is fair. Yeah, that's fair. So they can have that. But hey, when we back and we retooled and we healthy, we scary. So that's all I know. But a lot of great games going on this season, to be honest. I'm excited for Lakers Bucks. I'm trying to get to another one of them games. We gotta mark that down as well. Go see AD get punked by Giannis. I hope not, because we've seen it too many times. Last time we went, Giannis gave him head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and I was very, very disappointed.
Yeah, there wasn't that. Every time we go see Giannis in person, this man is setting personal records.
It's like nasty, bro.
I don't get it. It's probably because he gets up for those Lakers games. So
yeah, because it's connected. Hey, that man is fueled by his own motivation, so it's good for him. But I think it should be a good year, man. Again, it's tough to really gauge a lot of these matchups because I know our roster is yet to be complete, so it's hard to forecast matchups. It's hard to forecast chemistry, but I'm excited for it, man. I'm excited, but we still got some work to do on our end before we can really, really get the hype train rolling.
Yeah. Shout out, Mr. Gasol. Finally, the big
Yes.
Spaniard gets his jersey retired in at the crypto. I believe it will be March 7th
March 7th.
against the Memphis Grizzlies. So
Yeah.
nice touch there, Lakers. Obviously, coming up as a Lakers fan, when I did, the Kobe Gasol years were really some of the most important moments for me, because obviously I was a kid, right, for the three-peat,
Mhm.
but I was in high school for Kobe Gasol years, and as a out of town Lakers fan, you got to be able to talk your shit and be able to back it up. Those times the LeBron fans started popping up, and this and that, I just needed reassurance that my allegiance with the purple and gold pays dividends. And they, Kobe and Pau helped continue the streak of me being 30 years on this planet and still not going 10 years without seeing a Lakers championship. Pau is easily one of the most underrated Robins in league history. Go check his numbers for the Orlando series. Go check his numbers for that second Boston series. People have some opinions, real positive about Pau, and if he should have been considered for Finals MVP. But it just goes to show the guy that skilled and that dominant. All he really needed was a change of scenery, and also somebody who was the yang to his yin. Pau was he's a gentle giant. Kobe turned him a little bit into an asshole, and that's how teammates work. And you don't need to be exactly 100% the same personality as someone. You just need to have the same understanding and be lockstep. And we saw that their chemistry, their highlights, man. It's
Beautiful.
It's poetry in motion.
It really is, man. Gasol's a phenomenal player, and I had the opportunity to watch him from afar, being a Bron fan, but always tuned into the Lakers games, and the finals were his performances great, man. One of the greatest international players of all time. I think that needs to be spoken about more. But his impact on the league, the ability to be that skilled at that size, one of the best big men passers we've ever seen. Gasol had vision, dog. He could really pass that ball, and it's an exciting moment for him to get his jersey retired. I think it's something that has been long coming. Lakers fans have known this, and he really does hold a special place in Laker Nation's heart. So really awesome to see him get highlighted this season for just his accomplishments, and hopefully he continues to have an impact and a say in the Lakers organization, because he's meant so much. Again, helped recapture those 2 championships in the late 2000s. But man, Pau Gasol, what a great basketball player, great human in all, man. He's a great dude, so he deserves this, and hopefully we can make him proud on his retirement night.
Yeah, man, we need to win. We need to beat Ja Morant on the retirement game night. What were you saying, right? All LeBron accomplishment game nights, his teams ends up losing.
Always, man.
Obviously we remember the Kobe 60 ending on a win. So let's just continue to, celebrate our previous Laker greats by honoring them with W's, right? Please. Yeah, it's going to be cool. I assume Pau will be either to the left or to the right of Kobe's either 8 or 24 jersey. And not going to lie, the next Laker after that is probably going to be LeBron on the other side of Kobe's jersey. And I think, just the symbolism in that of just how the story of the franchise gets told. It's really cool. And that's why folks say when new players, when they come in Staples or the practice facility and they see the banners, they see the trophies,
see the jerseys,
history, man. It's staggering when you're in the presence of it. So shout out Pau. That's going to be a great day. But yeah, guys, I think that's going to do it for us today on this episode, right? Sorry we haven't broke any new Laker edition news, but we are at the mercy of the Brooklyn Nets right now. God help us all. So let's keep our eyes on that early September date. We'll check in with you guys leading up to that. And if anything happens from now to then, you know where to find us here and wherever you get your podcast. So that'll do it for us on Late Night Lake Show podcast. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us. For Kwame and Ricky, we out. Peace.
Peace.